My God, we are wearing hockey pads. Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to this audio fan commentary on The Dark Knight Rises, which is the third and final movie in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, and was released in 2012. Stars Christian Bale, Tom Hardy, Anne Hathaway, etc., etc. You know the deal. This is like the other commentaries. This is a non-profit commentary. We're just doing this for fun. If you want to follow with us, put your DVD and Blu-ray into the DVD player, and then put your timestamps to 0, and then press play when we press play. So yeah, and that's kind of it, really. We can't really show the image for legal reasons. So yeah, after the magnificent film The Dark Knight, which was an Oscar-winning masterpiece, it should have won Best Picture, I agree. And obviously Heath Ledger giving his Oscar-winning performance as the Joker. This movie, The Dark Knight Rises, was always going to be a hard film to make because it had to follow what was considered one of the greatest movies ever made, or one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. So, yeah, no pressure. So I'm joined by Jack once again. So, Jack, do you want to say anything before we kickstart this commentary?
Oh my God, it's a bomb! Oh God, Adam West, yeah.
God, Adam West.
Holy bat rings, Batman.
Yeah, oh God, those days are done. Right, so yeah, we are about to begin. So, Jack, do you want to do the countdown this time?
Okay, I'll do it in Christian Bale Batman voice.
Ladies first.
3, 2, 1. Let's wear hockey pads.
Very nice. He does seem to like that voice, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
And this is going to be a long one. It's 2 hours 45 minutes. Oh my God, it is the longest of the 3 films.
I'm gonna make this Blu-ray disappear by sticking it in the player.
It's such a shame that Ledger passed away. It really is. I mean, who knows? Maybe he would have actually appeared in The Dark Knight Rises had he lived. But oh well, we should be glad that he actually got to be the Joker in The Dark Knight. And in this movie, we have Bane, and thankfully, Bane is done properly.
Yeah. This is an interesting way to begin the film.
Yeah, because I like the way it's like 8 years after The Dark Knight, but it's still dealing with the repercussions of what the ending of the film meant, with Batman taking the rap for the death of Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
They still wanted Gotham to believe that Harvey was a great person.
Yeah. I mean, that's the interesting thing about The Dark Knight Rises is that Gordon has to pretend that, Harvey Dent was this great guy, and he was initially, but after he became Two-Face, he threatened to murder his son and all this shit, and I think he kind of resents the fact that he has to pretend that, Harvey was this great guy, but yeah.
Yes. I really like the opening scene, how the guy obviously is Bane under the sack. And I like this sequence, this plane sequence. And yes, this film has also got sequences shot in IMAX, which I know can be jarring for the Blu-ray because the aspect ratios changed. But it doesn't bother me that much. But I like this sort of the reveal of Bane, and I actually think the voice is good. I know it's hard to understand at first, but I quite like it, and I think Tom Hardy does a good job as Bane.
Yeah. The thing is about this. A part of this opening plane sequence is it's sort of homaging the opening plane scene in License to Kill, where Bond's going after Sanchez's plane. That's what I heard anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Nolan has gone on record saying he's a massive Bond fan, so I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching this in the cinema. I mean, I can't believe it was nearly 10 years ago.
Perhaps she's wondering why someone would shit on a man before throwing him out of a plane.
Yeah. It's interesting that he went for this take on Bane because Bane in the comics, I think, is Mexican.
Yeah.
If I pull that off, will you die?
It would be extremely
Painful.
You're a big guy.
for you.
And we actually get to understand why he has to wear that on his face. Because I think he was tortured. I mean, there are certain revelations in The Dark Knight Rises which come into fruition a bit later in the story, but this is an intriguing opening sequence.
I think this is the first film I saw Tom Hardy in.
Yeah, I think this was the first film where I was aware of Tom Hardy, yeah. But obviously, I saw other films with him, like Legend and Star Trek Nemesis, but I'd seen those movies after this. But yeah. Yeah, and then Venom, of course, as well.
Yeah.
I really like the music of The Dark Knight Rises. This constant sort of the epic theme, the Desh Bassa, Bassa, Desh Bassa.
It is good, yeah. And yeah, I could definitely see the influences of License to Kill here, the way they're sort of hooking the plane up, like in License to Kill when Dalton hooks Sanchez's plane.
Yeah, it is very clever, actually. Yeah, I can see where they've taken inspiration from as well.
I mean, thank God this was the film that finally took Bane seriously because, you know, when we first saw him in the movies in Batman and Robin about 15 years before this, that was just a fucking disgrace, you know, what they did to Bane. They just made him this muscly, you know, Bane, you know.
Yeah, he was just this kind of big idiot who was like a failed lab experiment. He was this buff guy. Yeah, just walking around going, Bane! In this film, he has character development, which I like. And he is like a muscle. He is the muscle, but I like the backstory that they give him, which we'll find out later.
Yeah. And the thing is about Bane is he's not stupid. In the comics, you know, he was the mental and the physical equal to Batman. So he's not this, you know, muscly idiot that they showed him in Batman Robin, you know, who says Bang, you know, all that shit.
The fire rises.
The fire rises.
The Dark Knight rises.
Just a quick hello to Harry and Sam in the chat. Yeah, I mean, Rachel. It would have been good to see her in the movie, but well, she died. So sadly, we weren't going to see her in The Dark Knight Rises, unfortunately, Harry. But we get Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, so that's something. And yeah, Sam, thank you for commenting, and maybe you should give it a chance because it is worth a rewatch.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think it's really good, but. Yeah, and Heath Ledger is...
sorry, you go ahead.
Sorry, I'll just quickly answer his question. Heath Ledger is probably my favorite Joker of all time. He's definitely my favorite on-screen Joker, but I do like Mark Hamill's Joker. Obviously, that was only a voice, but I still like that. But yeah, Heath Ledger, I'd probably give him my top vote.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering, Sam, out of interest, why couldn't you get in this film? Yeah.
It's funny how they have actually.
I do agree. Tom Hardy does steal the show as Bane.
He does actually. Yeah, you're right.
Sorry, go ahead.
It's funny how they do actually have a day to commemorate Harvey Dent. You know, like a Harvey Dent Day, which is very interesting. And yet, Gordon and Batman are still sort of living the life. I guess it's convenient how no one has clocked that Bruce Wayne is Batman because both Bruce Wayne and Batman have disappeared. So, you know, kind of ironic, but I guess no one cared about Bruce Wayne anymore. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people must be stupid in Gotham if they can't put two and two together and realize that Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same. I mean, it makes sense. How could he afford all these fancy gadgets? You know, because he's a billionaire. That's why. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I will say though, like a lot of people that I've seen just know Tom Hardy for this film, and that's great. You know, he's great in this movie, but I mean, he's such a great actor. He's probably my favorite actor working at the moment. I mean, and you know, he's done so much other stuff like Legend, and you know, he's doing Capone that's coming out soon, and he's a great actor. He was in Bronson as well and stuff. So I mean, he's really great in this film, and he's also been in he was also in Venom, I think, and he was in Taboo recently, which is really good, and Peaky Blinders. But yeah,
and in his early career, Star Trek Nemesis.
yeah, he wasn't great in that, but you know, apart from that,
no, he's a great actor. He very rarely gives a bad performance, but I like the scene when Gordon is giving his little monologue and how they use flashbacks of the Dark Knight. In that scene at the end when he had his son at gunpoint, like, I mean, imagine living with that secret for 8 years. You know, that must be sort of horrible. And the fact that I think apparently Gordon's family have like left him. They've moved on, which is sad to hear. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great drama in this film.
Yeah. I mean, Anne Hathaway as Catwoman. I mean, I don't think she's bad, but personally, I think she could have, I don't know, maybe put a little bit more into the role. I mean, the only similarity between her and Catwoman is that, you know, her outfit, you know, when she's got the goggles on her head, she kind of looks a bit like a cat. But I mean, that's really it, you know. I mean,
they didn't want to go over the top with it. I think that was why they chose to do that. But I can understand if you found that a bit strange.
No, I mean, like, no, you know, you don't have to go over the top with it, but you know, like, she's called Catwoman, and you know, she just kind of looks like Catwoman, but she doesn't, like, you know, have the personality of Catwoman. I mean, she's good in the film, though. I'm not going to say she's bad like other people, but I mean, I take Michelle Pfeiffer any day, but that's just me. And yeah, I mean, I didn't know actually Ben Mendelsohn was in this.
I was just about to say, yeah, I forgot that Ben Mendelsohn was in it. I don't think he plays a big part though, but yeah, it's nice. And also Marion Cotillard is in the film. She's got quite an important role. I mean, they call her Miranda Tate, but obviously her true identity is yet to be revealed. But I think she's a good actress. She's a good-looking lady, and I think she's initially meant to be a love interest for Bruce Wayne, and then they kind of make Catwoman the love interest. So, I mean, I don't know if that was entirely necessary, but I guess because Rachel's not going to be in this one because Rachel's dead. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is, anyway, that in the Batman comics, like Selena Kyle, Catwoman, has always been Batman's sort of love interest. And I think in the comics they had a kid together. But yeah, that's quite good.
Can't you just say hello like a normal person?
It is Mr. Wayne, isn't it?
I mean, as for Anne Hathaway, she's not the best looking woman in the world. I mean, she's not ugly, but she's not like I think maybe she should have been a bit more. They should have maybe gone an actress who was a bit more attractive because, you know, in the comics and all the other Batman appearances, Catwoman's very attractive, and I think that's part of the reason why Batman is like, you know, into her. But yeah, I mean, she's not bad, you know, but. I mean, this scene is good though when he's, you know, he realizes that she's stolen something from him.
Yeah. To be fair, she is an amazing actress. I mean, I actually think I have to disagree. I think she can be attractive, but I think when she gets into the leather suit, then she's got a nice body, but I'm not saying she's drop dead gorgeous, but I think she's cute, you know. But she plays the role well. But I think she's outstanding in the Les Mis film. I know it's not a film you're interested in, but she gives a very powerful performance in that film. It won her a Best Supporting Actress Oscar, so good for her. But I mean, I can see why they brought her into this film. I guess because they killed off Rachel, they thought about giving him a new love interest. But Yeah, no, she does kind of she does get her share of development in the story, but it's interesting to see Bruce Wayne in this film and how he's kind of crippled. He's still injured after what happened in The Dark Knight, and he's kind of living in isolation. Really, like he's given up the mantle of Batman. So this film really sort of deals with the idea of him kind of rebuilding himself and physically and mentally to kind of go back into Batman and also as Bruce Wayne as well.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, but I know Sam Mendes said he was inspired by the Dark Knight trilogy, and I mean, this film came out the same year as Skyfall. I'm just wondering, maybe the whole idea of Batman having to rebuild himself after being shot and injured. Like, I'm wondering maybe if they got if Skyfall got a bit from this, or it's just a coincidence. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's still good though in both films, and I mean, The Dark Knight Rises. It is interesting to see how Bruce Wayne is, all these years later, he's just a bit. Yeah, he's a cripple. You know, and he's still trying to recover from that injury. But yeah, I do like the scene where he finds out that Catwoman, Anne Hathaway's stolen I think it's his mother's jewelry or something like that. But yeah.
Yes, I think she has. She's stolen some pearls or something, yeah, from him. And also we get the introduction of this character called Blake, who actually turns out to be Robin. But Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays him. Although they don't make him Robin at the end, they just kind of mention the name, and then he's given the Batcave essentially because Bruce Wayne obviously retires. I mean, and whatnot. But I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in the film. He's pretty good actually as Blake.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when I kind of like that. He presses the keys on the piano when it opens up this passageway to the Batcave. Kind of reminds me of the '60s Batman show where there was this button underneath this bust of a head that you pressed it and it opened the secret compartment of the Batcave. But yeah, I mean, as for Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I mean, I remember watching the end of this film where he finds a Batcave, and I mean, I didn't know at the time it was going to be the last. I mean, I kind of knew it was going to be the last one, but at the same time, I thought to myself they might do a fourth one because they call him Robin, and I mean, I do like the fact that this is a trilogy, but I kind of wish in some ways that I kind of wish in some ways that they would have made a fourth film, and I wish he kind of like I guess the same way I wish Sam Raimi did, Spider-Man 4, because I really love the Batman films that Nolan did, and it would have been great if we had more than just the trilogy. But at the same time, I'm happy the trilogy as it is,
Yes.
You two should exchange notes over coffee.
So now you're trying to set me up with a duel.
At this point, I'd set you up.
Yes, Sam. It's from the games. Yeah, I've seen bits of the animated series, but not for a long time, so I couldn't recall much about it. When I was very young, I watched it, but yeah, it's mainly the Arkham games. I've played all of them. I finished Asylum and City and Origins. I think I finished those three, but I didn't finish Arkham Knight. But I mean, they were all entertaining.
Before Batman, you run 7 years. 7 years I waited, hoping you wouldn't come back.
I actually really like this scene. Like, this is a really emotional scene. Like, he's Alfred once again. Is the emotional core of these movies. Like, he's not just the butler. He's like his father. He kind of wished that he never came back, and it's kind of a hard thing for him to say, but he says it because he didn't want him to have actually had to deal with all this pain and whatnot, and he still realizes that Bruce has never got over Rachel's death as well, which is just sad.
Yeah. No, I always loved this scene. Like when I first saw it in the cinema, this scene played, I thought, Michael Caine. I mean, he just proves once again why such a national treasure in this film, and he's great as Alfred. I mean, and I like the fact with Alfred in these films, he's not just the butler. He gives Bruce Wayne advice. He tells him what he should do and what he shouldn't do, and and he is sort of like a father figure to Bruce, and I do like that. And that's for Sam's question, and then he said he didn't like the film because it's too slow. He said he doesn't like the fact that Bane is working for Talia Al Ghul, and she's not a very good villain, very forgettable and generic. I mean, I have to disagree there, but fair enough. Yeah.
I mean, fair enough if you find the movie slow. I mean, because it is quite long. It's nearly 3 hours long, so fair enough. But I think you ought to give it a rewatch, Sam. It's I think it's worth another chance. Even if you still don't like it, fair enough. But I really like it. I think there's a lot more to the film than people give it credit for. I think because The Dark Knight was so good and was so popular and it was very well received, The Dark Knight Rises, I think, was always going to take a beating somewhere, but generally it was received very well, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think out of the whole trilogy, it's probably got the least favorable reviews, but it's still got very good reviews. I mean, personally, I think I might take it over the Batman Begins. I mean, you say, Sam, that this film is slow, but I found Batman Begins to be slower, even though that's a shorter movie. I mean, this does have some slow segments in it, and maybe it is a bit too long at nearly 3 hours, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. I still think it's a very good film, and yeah, I think Tom Hardy's great as Bane. I like Anne Hathaway as Catwoman, but I do agree with you, Sam, that she doesn't compare to Michelle Pfeiffer, but she's decent in this film. She tries.
Yeah. See here, I think she looks pretty. She's a pretty girl, but yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer will always be the best Catwoman on screen. We'll just disregard Halle Berry in this conversation.
Yeah, well, I may do a rant on that film one day.
Yeah. I've never actually seen the Catwoman movie, but I've heard so many bad things about it. So
don't bother, it's shite. I think it would be a major rant from you, or at least a rant.
Maybe.
Oh, it's a dark scene. I mean, that's the thing about Catwoman. She's just really a cat burglar. She's not like, a homicidal maniac like the Joker or whatever. I mean, she's always been like a villain in the Batman comics and films and all that, but she's not like a murderer or anything like that. She just steals jewelry.
Yeah, I mean, she's basically just kind of like a thief, like a convict. Well, not convict. Sorry, she's just a thief, and she's just kind of like going about her life, nicking things and getting her money's worth, I suppose, because she has those sort of skills. But yeah, she's doing dodgy deals with these particular people.
Yeah. I like the product placement, Budweiser in the background.
Yeah. This is a very, it must be, I mean, the bar must be closed, or it's a very unpopular bar, because there's just no one there, other than them. Or unless they own it, unless it's their own bar, maybe, but...
Yeah, it could be, because, I mean, these people are gangsters, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, the way it just switches the IMAX there is a little jarring, but,
Yeah. I actually think The Dark Knight Rises probably is the best soundtrack of the three. I really do think Hans Zimmer went all out with the score for this one.
Yeah. No, I think Hans Zimmer's a good composer, but I do think some of the stuff in his soundtrack sounds, a bit similar sometimes. But yeah, this is quite funny how she's pretending that she's been traumatized and all this shit.
Yeah. I mean, there are some similar music beats. Of course, there are, but I think they did try and add some different themes in here, especially for Bane. Like the Bane theme is really is really quite epic, actually. But yeah, no, the soundtrack, it could be argued that it is too similar, but I think it's the best of the three scores.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think maybe my favorite Batman composer is probably Danny Elfman.
Yeah, I mean, that theme is great. I mean, I think the music in this trilogy is still really good.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah, Gary Oldman as Jim Gordon. He doesn't actually get a huge amount to do in the film. Surprisingly, he's kind of in the hospital for quite a lot of it, but he gets more involvement towards the end, though, I think. But Michael Caine actually only has a few scenes as Alfred in this one.
No, it's not Michael Caine. It's Michael Caine.
So Michael Caine.
Yeah. You failed to maintain your weapons, son.
I mean, I'm not going to say The Dark Knight Rises is a masterpiece because I don't think I'd go that far, but I think it is very good. But immediately you can tell it's not quite up there with The Dark Knight, but there's still a lot of great things in this movie, and I think it's a little underappreciated by certain people.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I could give it a 10 out of 10, but it is a good film.
Mm. I mean, yeah. I mean, I did give it a 10 out of 10 when I first saw it. I did love it. I'm judging it like fairly as of now. I mean, I'm not sure whether I prefer this to Batman Begins or not now, but I'll see.
Yeah, I think when I think when I did the review with you for The Dark Knight Rises, I was surprised that you gave it a 10 out of 10. I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, as for the Killer Croc, Sam, yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know if I'd see a whole movie about him, but I would like to have seen him in a movie. Batman is returning with Robert Pattinson, so perhaps with Robert Pattinson's Batman, they might encounter the Killer Croc. I mean, that's one villain that hasn't been in any of the movies, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah. I think they could, do Mr. Freeze in a live-action films, but do him right. Because, I
was going to say, do him again.
Yeah, because, the thing that pissed me off about Batman and Robin was, they took Freeze's origin story from the animated series, the episode Heart of Ice, and if you watch that episode, it's actually one of the best Batman the animated series episodes. It's quite tragic because in that episode, his wife, he's originally called Dr. Victor Fries, and his wife, had this disease, and he couldn't cure her, and then the project was going over budget. And the guy closed down the project, and then he became Mr. Freeze, and he was just trying to cure his wife and all this stuff, and it was quite emotional. And you could actually take that story and adapt it for the big screen and make it really good. But instead, they just had fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger saying sing louder, and making all these stupid ice puns let's kick some ice, and what killed the dinosaurs, the Ice Age, all this shit.
I mean, I like the fact that Bane is so ruthless in this film, and I mean, Jim Gordon just narrowly missed that there. I mean, it's a shame though that obviously he takes the letter from him, like the piece of paper which says the truth, because I think Jim Gordon was planning to confess the whole truth, because he was shamed by it and he couldn't live with it. So, but I think Bane now has that, which is a bit of a bit of a shame.
Yeah. Sam just asked, is Alfred your favorite? Is Michael Caine your favorite Alfred? And I'd have to say yes. I mean, I did like Michael Gough in. I did like Michael Gough in the Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher Batman films, but he didn't really get that much development. I like the fact that Michael Caine's Alfred gets a lot more stuff to do in the Dark Knight trilogy, and he gets a lot more emotional scenes. And I think Michael Caine's a great actor, so it was great to have him in these films.
I agree, actually. Yeah, I probably would say Michael Caine is my favorite Alfred. I mean, he just because he's the emotional heart of the movies. He really does have a lot. He's the voice of reason for Bruce Wayne. He's like a surrogate father to him. There's an emotional relationship there. Whereas before they just kind of had him as the butler and that was it. They didn't really develop him much. I mean, they gave him a daughter in Batman and Robin. They tried to do something there with the father and daughter, but it wasn't much. And I mean, that movie was shit anyway, so it doesn't matter. But no, I mean, who played Alfred in Batman vs Superman? I can't remember.
I think it was Jeremy Irons. That was it. Yeah.
Oh yes, of course. I mean, I liked Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons was actually all right, but the movie he was in, I didn't really think was that good. But I wonder who's going to play Alfred when Robert Pattinson plays Batman. I mean, Matt Reeves is directing the movie, so that kind of gives me some hope for it, because Matt Reeves is an amazing director. So yeah, I look forward to that.
Maybe Colin Baker could play Alfred.
Excelsior!
He would be like, oh, you Batman, you're an alien spy. Sent to spy here on me. Jesus.
It's funny how Blake actually susses out that he's Batman. Like he just kind of knew that he was Batman. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it's so fucking obvious. I mean, Batman, he goes around in this really expensive Batmobile. He's got all these gadgets. I mean, it's obvious that he's Batman. The fact that nobody's sussed it out now is ridiculous. It's the same with Superman and the same with Clark Kent in the Superman films. He wears he wears glasses, but are you telling me nobody in the Daily Planet could suss out that he's Superman?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he doesn't wear a mask, so like his face is on view. So I don't know why it took them so long to kind of for people to realize. I mean, Lois obviously worked it out in Superman 2, but then her memory was erased. So yeah, it's all very sad, really. But yeah, by this point, you think that people would know who Bruce Wayne really was, other than the people he's told, like Rachel. But obviously, Rachel's dead. So.
Is it me? But it looks like, I mean, I know he's not, but to me it looks like Bruce Wayne is dying here, because I mean his face is really pale. I mean, I know he's injured, but he looks like he's about to die. That he's really, really pale looking here. But yeah.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to accentuate how kind of like physically weakened he was, because he was sort of looks like he's at death's door, but. Nah.
I'm surprised he hasn't had any ladies though the last 8 years. I mean, you'd think he'd want to entertain himself a bit, but I mean, I know that he's still grieving over Rachel, but yeah.
And he's also injured as well. He physically hasn't really been able to go out that much, but the fact that this doctor has just said all the things he's got wrong with him as well, like, yeah.
Well, what's up with Commissioner Gordon? Like, what happened to him?
I don't. You probably missed it, but he was shot like in the leg. He tried to escape in the sewers from Bane. He rolled into the water.
Oh yeah.
As he was drifting off, they shot him in the side. So yeah.
Oh no, yeah, no, I did see that. Yeah, no, that balaclava makes him look like a fucking IRA terrorist.
Yeah. We don't wear hockey pads. We wear balaclavas.
I'm here to tell you that if you don't watch How to Train Your Dragon, I'm going to blow you up. Joking.
Sam asks, "Who's your favorite Penguin actor?" Well, to be fair, Sam, I've only seen Danny DeVito, so I can't really say anyone else. So
yeah, he was really good actually, Danny DeVito. I think my favorite Penguin actor is probably the one from the Adam West show. I forget the actor's name, but he was also Rocky's trainer in the Rocky films. But yeah, I thought he was really good. That sort of penguin laugh he did there. He was actually quite good as the penguin.
Yeah, I don't think a character like the Penguin could probably work in the Nolan movies, because I think it would stray too far from the realism that they were going for. And same with the Riddler. Yeah. I don't think the Riddler could really work in the Dark Knight films.
No, I actually disagree with that, because you could make him realistic. Like throughout the film, he's leaving him these like cryptic messages and stuff, and he's, I mean, I think that could actually work. I think the Riddler could really work, and if Nolan directed one of the, a fourth Dark Knight film, and You could have him, like, kidnap his friends and leave cryptic messages and stuff, that he has to solve, like riddles and things. Like, I think that could work, but yeah, you just can't have the over the top Jim Carrey Riddler in that.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose there's a way Nolan could do it. I mean, he's a very intelligent guy, so I mean, he made Bane actually a lot better than I thought he could be. So yeah, but I just think the Penguin is too much of a stray from what. Like, if I can't see Christian Bale going up against the Penguin, I just think it would be a little ridiculous just from the standpoint of the tone of these movies. But
yeah, that's true.
yeah.
That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
if you, I mean, God, could you imagine if Nolan got some of those really ridiculous Batman villains that nobody wants to talk about, like the Calendar Man or the Polka Dot Man? They would just be fucking laughable. But
God, yeah. Yeah, I mean, at least he didn't end up with Nuclear Man.
God, oh God, he would just be like, destroy Batman now.
God. It's nice to actually see like Christian Bale. I think Christian Bale's great in the movie. I mean, he really shows the sort of struggle that Bruce Wayne goes through in this one, and he's starting to go back out into the real world and socialize, even though he's a bit of a cripple. But yeah, it is stupid how people haven't clocked that he's Batman. I mean, seriously.
I mean, it's as plain as the nose in your face, like.
Yeah.
It's so obvious he's Batman, but yeah.
I mean, he came here also just to find her as well, to find Selena, to get his mother's pearls back as well.
I think he said they look great around your neck or whatever.
Yeah.
It's funny that she's wearing the pearls.
Yes, I mean, I think their chemistry is decent, but yeah, maybe Anne Hathaway isn't. I wouldn't say she gives a brilliant performance, but it's decent. Yeah, it's good. It's acceptable for what the film requires. So.
Yeah. No, she tries, but I just she's just not great. I mean, she's not terrible, but I just don't think she has a lot of personality as Catwoman. I think I would have liked a bit more chemistry between her and Christian Bale, but yeah, she's not bad though, but she's not great either, I have to say. But yeah, the Prince Ass Diaries, as Honest Trailers called her.
Yeah,
so low for the rest of us.
She whispers.
The Phantom Dennis.
Yeah, oh yeah,
no,
you're right. He does
yeah.
do that. Yeah, still can't let you keep him.
Ooh.
But yeah, she still takes.
But
Oh yes, she takes his car. I remember now. She takes the keys to his car.
He's walking with that stick. I expect him to become Emperor Palpatine. To me, this just seems a bit out of character for Catwoman. Like, why would she need to steal his car? It's just a bit weird.
Kind of like just because she can, I suppose. Like,
yeah.
Take your time to get back into swing of things.
Literally needs to swing on a fucking rope.
Oh, Morgan Freeman is back in this one.
How's it? What I want to know is, how's he going to overcome his injury? I mean, if he's still walking with a cane, how is he possibly going to, fight off crime?
Yeah, that's the thing. He never really does, I don't think, until like the end, like after he gets out of the pit, because in a way, like, he just makes it worse for himself by going out, and then Bane breaks his back and makes that even worse, and then he's got to struggle for so long to rebuild himself. So yeah, I suppose he's an idiot to kind of come out of his back cave so soon, really.
Yeah, I mean, he isn't in the physical prime anymore. I mean, the only way he should come back is if he manages to fully heal from that wound. But I don't think that wound's ever going to heal because it's 8 years later and he's still walking around with a walking stick. You know.
I think they said something about a cracked spine or like the lower parts of his like spine are really damaged or something because he fell from quite a height after he lifted Jim Gordon's son up onto the balcony. He slipped off and fell. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, plus he was shot as well, so that's not going to help.
Yes, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he was shot. Yeah. So he's probably, I don't know if he's still got the bullet inside him or whether he actually had that removed. I don't know.
He's a billionaire. I assume they probably took it out.
The bat. I like that. It does come in black.
It's hard to believe this is nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. God, this film is what, 8 years old.
What is this thing? Is this to like help his leg or something?
Yeah, I think so. It's like I think it's like a leg brace or something. It just tightens the leg. It just increases the pressure. I think it's just to like sort of for pain relief. Some people wear those like normally. So
yeah. I think maybe it would have been a better idea to do something like Skyfall, where he had a bullet inside him, and then once he got rid of the bullet, he was back to normal, sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe. I don't mind the sequence with the pit, but perhaps it does go on a bit.
I mean, saying that, this story is actually taken from a Batman comic, like the first Batman comic, which introduced Bane. Bane in that story breaks Batman's back, so I think that, I mean, obviously it's its own story, but it does take that element from the original Bane comic, where Batman's back is broken by Bane. But yeah,
I mean, thing is, Alfred is worried about him. He's saying to him, I mean, you can strap up your leg and put your mask on, but that doesn't make you who you were. You're physically not ready for this, and he's warning him. But yeah, Bruce, being the man he is, decides to go and do it anyway. So,
well, no, he's right.
You're afraid that if I go back out there, I'll fail. I'm afraid
that you want to fail.
Oh. And the thing is, he does feel.
Yes, he does, and Alfred actually was right, but Bruce didn't listen.
He shouldn't have come out of retirement. Let the police and FBI and all that deal with Bane.
Yeah, I mean, I know Jim Gordon is out of action at the moment, but the police force are still very much out there and doing what they can. But yeah, I mean, it's funny actually. This film, we're 41 minutes in, and we're only just about to see Batman. I think Batman Begins. It just take about an hour before we actually see Batman, so it's a bit more of a slow burner. This one doesn't take as long to bring Batman in, but it has a long section in the middle where there's not much Batman. So appreciate the amount of screen time he has while it's on there, I say.
Yeah. It's interesting that they went for Tom Hardy because he's an English actor and Bane is like Mexican in the comics. But I mean, I like Tom Hardy a lot as Bane. He's very good. I think after he led probably my favorite Batman villain trilogy.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, how do you follow Heath Ledger's Joker? I mean, of course he wasn't going to be as good as Heath Ledger's Joker. No one was, but they actually really made a great character out of him. And I think Hardy's choices for the way he was going to play the character, I think really worked. They actually made him an intelligent character, unlike Batman and Robin.
Yeah. I think he's in the stock market, isn't he, or something like that?
Yeah, he's trying to like rob the stock market. Yeah, basically.
So he must be in Wall Street or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, if there is a Wall Street in Gotham.
Oh, it's Gotham. I thought he was like in somewhere else.
Well, I'm assuming they filmed in Chicago again, like they did with The Dark
Yeah,
Knight.
that's it. Yeah, Sam just said it was Burgess Meredith who played the Penguin in the '60s show. Yeah, he's probably my favorite Penguin, and then Danny DeVito in live action. But yeah, I agree. I think the '60s show is really good as well, Sam. It's underrated. And as for a favorite Batman film, well, yeah, I mean, I can understand if the '89 Batman film with Jack Nicholson's your favorite. I mean, I personally prefer The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
But I think probably my favorite Batman film is, well, my favorite's Batman Returns, but I do like the '89 Batman film with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, and as for me, I probably will have to say The Dark Knight. Not just because of Heath Ledger's Joker, but just because the whole film is just amazing. I mean, you know, I've already justified my opinions on that film in the previous commentary, so I won't dwell on it anymore. But yeah, but I mean, I'm sure there are some people that actually think The Dark Knight Rises is probably the best. Probably some people that think Batman Begins is the best. I know Mark Commode says that Batman Begins is his favorite of the three, which is kind of interesting, really. But yeah, he loves all three of them, though. He really is a fan of Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, and for some people, Batman and Robin might be the best Batman film.
Yeah, for very few people, I think.
I mean, I thought Batman and Robin was your favorite. Joking.
There's a lot more action in The Dark Knight Rises, I think, as well. It feels like a war movie towards the end. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. And actually, I appreciate that there's more action, because that's one criticism of Batman Begins, is that I think part of the reason why it was so slow for me was there wasn't much action in it. I mean, there was, you know, some action there, but it wasn't as action-packed, but yeah.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I can understand your criticisms about Batman Begins. I still really like the film, but I guess maybe it could have had some more action in it.
Well, I like Batman Begins, but it is slow for me. I think that's always been one of my criticisms. It is quite slow for me. I can't watch it all the time because parts of it do drag for me. But yeah,
I like the way they reveal Batman in this film when he comes back, and how they turn all the lights off in the car park, and then they turn them back on, and then he's there. Yeah.
Batman.
Dun, dun. The suit is great.
He still looks awesome in that suit. Literally, you could actually, since Batman returned in this, they could have called this Batman Returns.
Yeah, or like it was either going to be The Dark Knight Returns or The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, I mean, if there wasn't already a film called Batman Returns, you could have called this one Batman Returns, since he returns after 8 years.
Yeah. I'm going to take down the Batman.
Oh, she's got a nice ass.
See, I told you she had a nice body.
She's got a nice body, I'll give you that. I always knew that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's attractive, you know. Yeah.
What I meant was, you know, she's got a nice body, but she hasn't got the most attractive face. But, you know, it's not me slagging her off, you know.
Yeah, blame her parents. They made her. I'm only joking.
To quote another Batman film, "You idiot! You made me. You dropped me into that vat of chemicals."
Some robber, the son of a bitch who killed Harvey Dent.
Like, the thing is, like, Harvey Dent died 8 years ago. Like, I know he's technically the person who's meant to have murdered him, but even though he didn't. But they can't just let the robbers get away. Like, what's the jizz? You know, that's just sloppy.
What about Bruce Wayne's jizz? Seeing this in the cinema, though, was really great. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but I love watching this in the cinema.
Yes, yeah, I saw it in the cinema, and I was enthralled all the way through. I mean, it was a long sit through, but I thought it was worth it. Definitely worth it.
Oh, shit. Oh, it's the Bat iPad.
The Bat pad. It's very well shot, this film.
I think he's got a different suit in this one.
Yeah, doesn't he have a different suit in all three of them? This one looks like the darkest suit that he's had in all three.
Yeah. It's got, like, his armor's a little bit different. Like, it looks a little bit weirder. Ooh. I mean, does he still have the Batmobile, or does he just have a Bat bike now?
I think he does have the Batmobile. Well, no, actually, no. He blew it up. He blew up the Batmobile in The Dark Knight. So I think he might. I think he gets a new one. But then he also uses the Bat, which is the helicopter or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that's not till the end.
I love the way he just turns around, like sort of spins sideways. You can go down that alley.
Surely he must have thought coming back at this point would have been a bit awkward anyway, because he knows he's taken the fall for Harvey Dent's murder. So I think he must have known the police were going to go after him.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I find that a bit stupid. Like, they get all the police to go after Batman, but they just let the robbers get away. Like, seriously?
Yeah. I mean, that's a fault on the police force. Yeah, they don't seem to have a lot of structure at the moment.
One thing I do think is a little bit ridiculous is that sort of bat jet thing. Come on. Like,
The Bat, yeah.
Even now, we don't have, like, technology like that, you know. And you're seriously telling me he could build this, like, bat jet without anybody noticing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, it's he only uses it a couple of times in the movie, but yeah, perhaps Lucius Fox has some amazing engineers. We'll get some girls in here.
Is the kind of girl you wanted? Catwoman.
You're dumb.
That's the thing about Catwoman. Maybe if you had a gun, you would do better in these sort of fights.
There we go. She's got a gun now.
I call it the cat gun.
I really think Ben Mendelsohn is a good actor. Nowadays, he seems to be in a lot of things. Like, obviously, after this, he'd go on to be in Star Wars, and then he would be in Ready Player One. And then he was in something else, but I can't remember what he was.
Captain Marvel.
Yes, thank you, Captain Marvel.
He was in Rogue One as well.
Yeah, he's actually Australian. Would you believe it?
Yeah, I think he was also in Darkest Hour. He was good in that.
Yes, he was. Yeah, that was a great film. Earlier with my parents, I watched Saving Private Ryan, and my God, that is a fantastic film.
Yeah, it is a great film. It's not my favorite Spielberg film, but yeah, it is good.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably review it one day, but yeah, I've not seen it for years. Bloody hell, it's quite harrowing to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say it's the best war film like some people, but it is pretty good.
Yeah. This is a good fight scene.
Don't fucking around, cat.
No guns, no killing.
Where's the fun in that?
No guns, no killing. You know, I think Christian Bale's actually toned down the voice a little bit. The gruff voice that he does for Batman.
Yeah, I think he has, yeah.
Bassa, taste, bassa.
That is a good soundtrack.
This is the car.
I do like that line. My mother told me not to get into cars of strange men. I mean, is it me? But the way Bane sort of, you know, he has his hands like that, like over his chest, like over his coat. It kind of reminds me of the way William Hartnell did that as well. Like,
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually. Yeah, Gotham will be in ashes. Then you'll have my permission to die, my boy.
oh look, it's Chatterton getting away in the Batjet.
The fire rises.
You know, yeah, Bane does that throughout the film. And it just reminds me of William Hartnell.
Of course, it's not an intentional thing, but it's kind of funny to have seen that.
You're welcome.
I had it under control.
Those weren't street thugs. They were trained killers. I saved your life. In return, I need to know what you did with Bruce Wayne's fingerprints.
Wayne wasn't killed by the powerful friend. I sold his prints to Daggett. Something doesn't exist.
I doubt many people get the better of you.
Hey,
What's he gonna do with them?
I don't know. But Daggett seemed pretty interested in that mess at the stock market.
Miss Kyle,
Fuck off.
that's what that feels like.
No, I know what that feels like. Quite funny.
Oh, hi Alfred, I'm home.
Bloody hell, sir. You ever heard of closing the door behind you? What were you, racing a fucking barn?
Fuck it. At least he rinsed the vehicle on his way in.
Yeah.
Retrieve this. Are the police supposed to be investigating them? They don't have the tools to analyze it. They would if you gave them to them. One man's tool is another man's weapon. In your mind, perhaps they're anything you can't turn into a weapon. Alfred, enough. Police aren't getting it done. Perhaps they might have. You hadn't made a sideshow, so. I didn't have it in me. No, you led a productive police force a merry chase with a load of fancy new toys from Fox. What about when you come up against him? What then?
With Bane.
I always have. Take a look.
I've met Bane.
I see.
But Alfred has a point. Like, Bane is physically huge, and at the end of the day, you know, he's not physically ready to take on that guy. That guy is going to fucking destroy him, and he does. You know.
Yeah. Sam just asked, who's your favorite movie villain and favorite villain of all time in general?
Oh, Sam, don't ask me that. I don't know at the moment. I guess Darth Vader, Star Wars. You know, he's just so iconic, and because it was always a mystery to understand what was behind the machine. You know, the man behind the machine, but I can't really go into details at the moment. I'm more focused on The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say your favorite movie villain was Nuclear Man.
Yeah, because I love his fingernails.
Oh, yeah. Superman's going to be killed by a pedicure, like you said.
Yeah. This is a really emotional scene, actually, when Alfred decides to leave because he just can't. He doesn't want to watch Bruce get hurt or destroy himself. So, and he knows that Bruce won't stop, so he has nothing else to say. And then he actually goes into the letter that he received from Rachel, and that he said, "Oh, I burnt the letter to spare you any pain." And then he thinks that he's lying, and he thinks that he was like he's saying it to blackmail him, but or emotionally blackmail him. But yeah.
Yeah. I burnt that letter.
How dare you?
Maybe it's time we all stop trying to outsmart the truth and let it have its day. I'm sorry.
I mean, this is Michael Caine's best performance in the trilogy by far, in my opinion.
I have to agree. He gets a lot more emotional, like, scenes in this. This could be Bale's best performance as well, because as Batman, he has to sort of physically recover and emotionally recover from the events of the Dark Knight.
But it might also saving your life.
Mm.
I mean, in answer to your question, Sam, I think my favorite movie villain is Michael Corleone in The Godfather Part 2, but yeah.
It's really sad.
Sad.
So sad that Alfred walks away, but then we don't really see Michael Caine until the end of the film, which is sad.
I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa.
Yeah, and also not only does he have to physically recover, he also has to financially recover. Like his company is falling or something, and he's completely broke. So, and he doesn't want to lose his company and stuff. I mean, some people may argue that this whole stuff with the board and the company and the financial side of the plot might be a bit boring, but I think it just adds to the character, the fact that Bruce Wayne has so much on, like, the weight of the world on his shoulders, really.
You know what? We're an hour into this, and it's flown by so far.
Yeah, it hasn't dragged at all, actually. It's really been paced very well.
Yeah.
We've still got a long time to go, but it's No, it's been
another
great.
hour. Yeah, we got basically another 2 hours, but yeah.
What's your opinion of Marion Cotillard in the film?
As Talia Al Ghul, I think she's quite good. I know Sam said that she's a boring and forgettable villain, and he doesn't like the fact that Bane works for her. But I actually think she's quite good in this. And one thing I have to say, I have to really praise the set here. The way that set actually moves down and it becomes a new room, that is amazing. I mean, hats off to whoever designed the set for this, because it reminds me of a Bond set or something. The way it turns from this ordinary room and it goes down to this other place. I mean, really, hats off to the set designer. Yeah,
I think you mean ordinary room.
yeah, room. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, the next film you got to review. I mean, that is a bit of a curse.
Production designers Nathan Crowley and Kevin Cavanagh. Yeah, Nathan Crowley and Kevin Cavanagh, who did the production design for this. So you can thank them for the sets.
Well, thank you, you fuckers. Only joking. Thanks. No, great sets. Really good sets.
And there's also this other thing to the plot about this energy machine or something. Like, they want to create a renewable energy source as well. And that's what he's investing in. And that's what he's hoping to profit from in order to keep his company running. I mean, that does it kind of comes out of nowhere, really, that sort of plot. But still,
Yeah, I mean, I tell you who wouldn't be interested in that. Donald Trump, he's into coal and all that stuff and oil and
yeah. Oh, by the way, did you see Boris Johnson's announcement earlier?
Oh, well, no, what was that?
I was just about some of the very minor changes to the lockdown. Although there was basically, he's saying people can go to work if they can't work from home, and they may reopen schools in a month, but only let a few students in. I mean, it was all subject to how we do, really, and he was just giving the basic insight into it. There's a video on YouTube you can check out, but there's not much that's going to change at the moment. So they're hoping by July more things will start to gradually reopen, but it will just depend. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw a newspaper headline that said scientists are warning that if he eases the lockdown too quickly, that 100,000 more people will die, which, hopefully that doesn't happen, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, apparently we've made progress, so that's good. But yeah, he said he's not going to raise the lockdown yet. It's too early to do that. So
yeah.
Really? Do I look like I'm running Wayne Enterprises right now?
You know what's weird about Bane? He probably has the clearest audio of the whole film. Like, you can really hear his voice from like a mile away.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to help my company absorb Wayne?
Oh yeah. This guy, he wants to buy him out. That's why they went to the stock exchange, because they wanted just to steal more money. Yeah.
I have to say, Tom Hardy was great as Bane because he is like really physically beefy in real life. So, he was a good casting choice as Bane.
I think you're right as well. Yeah, I think it was right to cast someone who was physically that big, and Nolan had worked with Tom Hardy before anyway, so he just had the part.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be shit scared of Bane. Oh fuck!
God,
you just snap his neck.
It's the end of Ben Mendelsohn.
Did he snap his neck, or?
I think he did, yeah. I think he'd sort of tried to suffocate him as well, because you could hear him screaming in pain, so...
Yeah. Screaming in pain because of Bane. It's interesting how he's hanging out with this cop.
Yeah, Blake, yeah. He actually is someone who sort of looks up to him a bit as well. You could see potentially, maybe if they did a fourth one, if the ending of this film was different, Bruce hadn't have retired with Selena Kyle, then maybe him and Blake could have become Batman and Robin. But yeah, this movie really is the ending of the trilogy.
Yeah.
Why are they letting him keep the house if he can't pay it? What?
Yeah, I don't understand either. Like, he's like a billionaire. How could he go bankrupt overnight?
Yeah. Well, I'm assuming this has happened gradually over the course of the 8 years, because he's been very inactive, so he's been in isolation. So presumably he's not been around to deal with his company for the past few years.
Oh, God. Yeah. It's funny, we're in lockdown, but Bruce Wayne's been locked down for 8 years.
Yeah, kind of convenient, isn't
about
it?
it. Yeah. I mean, Bruce Wayne, like, if coronavirus was around like 2012, Bruce Wayne would have been fine because he'd have been in isolation for 8 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Wayne doesn't need any tips on self-isolation, that's for sure. Have they made Gary Oldman look older here? Because, like...
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, maybe they've given him slightly grayer hair. I suppose he's meant to have aged 8 years, so, yeah.
Yeah. I do remember the sex scene in this between him and Talia Al Ghul.
Yeah.
you have keys?
Quite a steamy scene.
Yeah.
Don't need
It's
it.
funny, like he never just before Alfred left, Alfred didn't bother to leave him the key to his own house.
From billionaire to bum.
Yeah.
I'll take care of your parents' legacy, Bruce. Who's this?
Maybe they should have made her Catwoman.
Maybe, but I actually like her as Talia Al Ghul. Oh, the picture of Rachel. Yeah.
Rachel.
Rachel. I mean, The Dark Knight really just. I mean, the plot was so good, and it really just rocked everyone so much. I mean, it was so unexpected. You never knew where it was going to go. With The Dark Knight Rises, you kind of have a clearer idea of the story and how it's all going to sort of fit. I mean, I always thought this scene came out of nowhere, like them two. I didn't realize they fancied each other. I always thought he was into Catwoman, but okay, they're having a sex scene.
Do you know what he should have said? Let's get out of these wet things.
In the Batman voice, let's get out of these wet things.
Alfred comes in. My God, Master Wayne, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Keeping the American end up.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, I don't know why she does this, because at the end of the day, I mean, she's just kind of like, you know, she wants revenge for her dad. So why is she sleeping with him? I guess she's just trying to play him, maybe to make the reveal a bit more heartbreaking for him. But it just it doesn't really make sense why they sleep together.
I think she does it to sort of gain his trust, and not only that, but I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Christian Bale's a good-looking guy, so you know, why not?
Yeah, that's very true.
I love that shot of Batman there. Just awesome.
Yeah.
It's interesting how he works with Catwoman in this.
Yeah. I just need the loo, man. Give me 2 secs, but keep on playing and keep on talking.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Anne Hathaway, she's not bad, but she's just not great as Catwoman. I mean, I can understand what they were trying to do, like, you know, make her more realistic, but, you know, she just kind of looks like a cat in that suit, but that's really it. There's you know, there's nothing really about her that says I'm Catwoman. You know, I guess she's a cat burglar, but yeah. I mean, I do like the fact that Catwoman is working with Batman, but you know, in the comics and other films, Batman is always, you know, chasing Catwoman and, you know, trying to put her in jail, or, you know, try to get her to go straight and give up give up her life of crime. And yeah, this scene is pretty intense, where he encounters Bane and his back gets broken. And the fact that she double-crossed Batman as well. I mean, what a bitch. I mean, this just would change the IMAX noise. It's a little bit jarring, but it's still good. You know, Batman made a mistake going up against Bane. Bane, you know, kicked his ass. I like that line, victory has defeated you. Because, I mean, Bane knows he's not up to his physical best since the Dark Knight. And then he breaks his back, which, you know, bloody hell. Takes the wind out of his sails. But this is a great fight scene. Really well done. And it's quite brutal. And I really feel bad for Batman when his back gets broken. I mean, Oh, bloody hell, it's intense. And look, Catwoman just won't even save him. She just watches. She's an absolute bitch.
Theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated. But we are initiated. Aren't we, Bruce?
I like how this ties back into Batman Begins.
Yes, you were excommunicated by a gang of psychopaths.
Oh, shit.
The League of Shadows.
League of Shadows, yeah.
Fulfill Ra's al Ghul's destiny.
It's interesting how they tied in to the first one, but you know the thing was, I don't think Bane in the comics was ever part of the League of Shadows, but here they tie it in.
Like a younger man, there's nothing held back. Admirable.
Thing is though, I mean, like he hits Bane and all that stuff, but Bane just doesn't feel anything.
Darkness is
It's like, you know, his punches, you know, make no impact.
Sorry about that, pal.
We're on the scene where Bane's fighting Batman before he breaks his back.
nothing to me but
Oh, yes. I didn't want to miss this bit because we don't see Batman for a while after this.
It's interesting how he works for the League of Shadows.
Yes. Yeah, that's the first twist of the movie.
Isn't me, but like Batman, you know, he tries to fight Bane, but like his punches make no impact on him.
No. Yeah, because he's physically inept. So.
I feel really bad for Batman, how his back gets broken. I'm surprised Batman didn't die because, you know, breaking his back, you know, you'd think he would die.
Yeah. Or your spine. Ooh, God, that's gotta hurt. I mean, oh man, the fact that he lifted him up as well, like that's just how strong he is. Like,
yeah, and this was taken from the original Batman comic with Bane, because in the front of that, it's even more graphic. You see Bane literally like put Batman over his leg and snap his spine in half. It's just like fucking it, like his back, fucking hell, you know. And yeah, I'm surprised Batman lived from that. And I have to say as well, you know, Catwoman, what a bitch. She like deceived him and, you know, brought him to Bane.
yeah, I think she regrets that though. She starts to have a change of heart. I mean, she kind of she didn't realize that he was Bruce Wayne, obviously, and then seeing him being physically beaten up, I think she kind of just feels like, oh shit, well, that was my fault, but I'm just going to leave now.
No, but I mean, if I was Bruce, I wouldn't fall in love with her after she did that.
No. But I think he kind of likes the fact that she's like bad, you know, like she's a bad girl. I think he finds that kind of rootlessly appealing about her, that she's very different to Rachel. That she's, you know, but I think she does show a softer side, and she does actually turn out to be a lot nicer. And I think that's what he brings out in her, which is quite nice. But,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, mistake me, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the end when Alfred sees Bruce and Selena Kyle, do they have a kid, or is it just them on, you know, just them on their own?
I think it was just them, but I've not seen this film for a while, so I could be wrong.
Yeah. Catwoman, you're a fucking bitch! Oh, I was gonna say, I need a piss as well, so could you keep talking? I'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, no, that's fine, man. And here we come to quite a long sequence in the film where Bruce Wayne is stuck at the bottom of a pit.
You don't fear that. You welcome it.
Bane really has sort of tested him quite a lot, physically and mentally. And pretty soon he'll test him emotionally as well. I mean, I also like the fact that Blake was asking about him as well with Catwoman. Like, he says, she says, did he kill him? And he was like, and she says, I'm not sure. But I like this speech here that Bane gives as well, because he's been in this prison before and he knows the challenges that it faces, and he's now got Batman out of the way, so he's still all powerful, and he doesn't ever believe that Batman will ever get out of the pit and defeat him.
Many have died trying. I learned here that there can be no true despair without hope. So, as I terrorize Gotham, I will feed its people hope to poison their souls. I will let them believe that they can survive, so that you can watch them clambering over each other to stay in the sun. You can watch me torture an entire city.
And he actually leaves a TV screen in there as well for him to watch all the anarchy and the tyranny that he's going to place on Gotham. I mean, really quite sadistic. I mean, of course.
Back.
Oh, welcome back. Yeah, we're just in the scene where Bruce Wayne's in the pit with Bane.
Yeah. You're a prick, Bane. You're a real prick.
When Gotham is ashes, then you have my permission to die. So, God, he just wants to watch him suffer.
This is your own fault, Bruce. You know, you weren't physically fit and you decided to come back.
Yeah, I mean, Alfred did warn him.
You know, I kind of find it ridiculous that they put her in this, maximum penitentiary with all these convicts. She's just a burglar, for fuck's sake.
She's gonna sneak out. She'll find a way.
Hello, I'm Bruce Wayne.
President, all I need now is one more ordinary board member, Mr. Fox.
Mr. Fox.
Nominate. I'm a volunteer. Where are you taking this?
Oh dear! Now Bane's literally taking over Gotham like his own personal empire.
I love his William Hartnell impression.
Your masked man kidnapped the Wayne Enterprises board. He let most of them go, but he took 3 of them into the sewers.
Would you like a jelly, baby?
Won't give out. The mayor won't want panic, so it's training exercise. I'm sorry, I treated you seriously.
Not you. You're telling me the Batman is gone. So you chased up the guy who needs.
Well, I wouldn't bother about Dagger. I mean, he's dead. You're not going to see him again.
Yeah. I mean, who are all these other people down here?
Just other prisoners, I suppose. They've just been here for so long, and they've never been able to actually get out. So.
Mm. It's interesting they've actually incorporated that music into that scene.
Yeah, because I actually wondered why that was the music in the trailer, but it makes sense for the movie.
Of course not.
It's interesting that nobody's been able to climb out of there.
Yeah, because from up there, it doesn't look like that much of a bad jump. I think because they're attached to the rope, I think they just get pulled back so quickly. I mean, but then you run the danger of if you lose the rope, then you fall to your death.
I mean, the thing is, you're not gonna. I mean, looking at that jump, I don't think anybody could make that jump. I mean, of course, Batman does because he's Batman, but I mean, I kind of find it a little bit weird that they have this place anyway, where you can, you have this challenge of climbing out, and if you're successful, then yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense in the context of the movie because that's the place where Bane rescued Talia Al Ghul and took her out of the pit or something. But then once he got her out, he was like imprisoned or tortured or something, and then that's why he has to wear that mask or something because they messed his face up or something. I thought that was quite a clever way of explaining that.
Yeah.
Because they do ask at the beginning of the movie, why does he wear the mask? And then we do find out.
Yeah. I wear the mask because I want to go out and trick or treat.
I only need one other board member. There are 8 others waiting.
All right, stop. Let's just heal this one by yourself. And you'll bear this over time.
No, we've watched the film, I'd say about halfway. We're about halfway there.
Yeah, we are, yeah. Just over halfway, actually. And I think it's really well paced, though. It hasn't dragged for me so far.
So far, it's been good. For such a long film as well.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you need films to be a bit longer because the story, needs more developing.
Yeah, it's not the amount of time you have; it's how you use the time. That's important, I think, regardless of the film's running time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes you need a film to be 3 hours or more because you've got a big story that you need to develop, and then sometimes you don't need it to be that long. It could be an hour and a half or 2 hours because you don't need huge amount of story. But yeah.
Pull the core out of the reactor. No, you cannot.
Oh yeah, so Bane decides to steal the reactor core or something and then use it to blow up Gotham, I think, doesn't he?
5 by my calculations.
Yeah.
For the sake of your children, Dr. Bale.
Is that scene where he's at the stadium?
It does.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot actually that your man, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, gets a lot to do in this.
He does, actually, yeah. I think he's really good. I think he's a great character.
Did you imagine him in the Robin outfit?
That would be something I would love to have seen.
What are you doing here? What are you working on?
Somehow in like America they're allowed to use firearms, but England they're not so much anyway. They have to. They'd like to avoid like the policemen using firearms when possible.
Well, it's part of the. I think in America it's part of the Second Amendment. The right to carry arms or whatever. But
yeah.
I'm glad though in the UK we don't really have that many guns because there's been so many school shootings and massacres in America because of nut jobs with guns.
Yeah. Training exercise. That's always the excuse.
Yeah. One character I kind of wish they included in the Dark Knight trilogy was maybe Barbara Gordon. That would have been nice, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they did actually give Jim Gordon's wife the name of Barbara, but I think I'm to assume that maybe his little girl, his little daughter, could have been Barbara Gordon, who would grow up to be Batgirl. I mean, maybe. But yeah, Nolan didn't do anything with that. But yeah, no, that would have been interesting.
Yeah. I hope in the future we have a Batgirl film, or that if they do another Batman film, we have Batman, Robin, and Batgirl or something, because she's only been in really Batman and Robin, and that fucking film sucked. And
Because there was a Supergirl TV series, so they could do the same with Batgirl.
yeah,
It's interesting how they used the kid singing the anthem intercutting with the policeman running underground and Bane there about to detonate the whole stadium.
I think this is a really powerful scene.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of sound in it, and then they just start clapping. It's quite a beautiful little moment, actually. It's like the sort of one moment of innocence in the film.
Yeah.
Let the games begin.
It's actually quite clever what he does, because he ends up trapping most of the policemen underground. So then there really is no one to stop Bane now. He can do whatever the fuck he wants because the policemen can't do anything. The only one out there is Blake, So the Dark Knight Rises really adds so much stake to the plot.
Fucking hell.
Oh shit! I forgot about that. I just killed the other one.
Can you imagine if that happened in real life?
That would be shocking.
I wonder if they filmed this in Chicago again, or
They may well have done, or maybe they filmed it in New York or somewhere.
yeah. I mean, it looks like New York, but maybe it's Chicago. I don't know, because I know they filmed The Dark Knight in Chicago, but bloody hell! Look at that.
Shit.
He's literally like trapped them all there. Like those policemen will probably die if nobody saves them. They'll run out of air or have nothing to eat or drink. If they're stuck there for ages.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Take control. Take control of your city.
I do agree with Sam. I do think Tom Hardy steals the show in this as Bane.
Yeah, he does actually, and you do sort of get used to the voice. I think after a while, I'm understanding him fine. I mean, I can hear every word he's saying. So.
Yeah, I do think I prefer this to Batman Begins.
I may agree with you, actually. Yeah.
I just think I find the story more engaging. I mean, I like Cillian Murphy as a Scarecrow, but he didn't have a lot of screen time. I just think the pacing is better in this as well.
Yeah. Even Mark Commode said Batman Begins was too long.
Yeah. He's got a pump action. Get out.
Jim Gordon's discharging himself from hospital.
Yeah. If this was Batman and Robin, all Bane would be saying into the microphone is bang, 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 bang. Bane, Bane.
God, he'd be singing the anthem as Bane. Bane, 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 Bane.
Captain Leonard Father.
Doritos product placement.
Otherwise confirmed.
Yeah.
Congrats on an agency call.
Yeah, I had Doritos yesterday.
Oh yeah, they're nice, aren't they?
And what is this?
I said if I have to rank the Doritos flavors, I'm joking.
The blast radius of 56 miles. And who is capable of disarming such a device?
I see you have Doritos on your football stadium.
Yeah.
Is there any tangy cheese?
Oh God!
Oh, this bomb is armed. This bomb is mobile.
He likes snacking. He likes snapping people's necks, doesn't he?
He does.
One of you holds the detonator. Now we came here not as conquerors, but as liberators to return control of this city to the people.
It's a very different film to The Dark Knight, I think.
At the first sign of interference from the outside world.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think there's more like moral dilemmas in The Dark Knight, and there's a lot more tension just because of how much the Joker is throwing at them. But with this, it's like a slow kind of build to the climax. Like it's building up to a war. Essentially, there's a big war at the end of the film. But the way that Bane sort of tests Batman physically and emotionally and mentally is quite something, really.
Yeah. I'm going now to have my chili heatwave Doritos.
It's not a good time for Gotham.
Yeah. Oh, they're getting a tank stuff. Because I can drive my very own tank.
Many of you are there, son.
Yeah, it's interesting that they sort of... I kind of like that. I mean, Bane sort of takes control of Gotham. Gotham sort of, under his control now.
Yeah, and he's got rid of Batman. He's trapped the police force. He's literally got no one to stop him. Like he's kind of invincible in the moment. It kind of does what the Joker sort of tried to do, I guess, in The Dark Knight.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think the Joker could pull off something on this big a scale.
No. And I also think the Joker just was having too much fun. He was having way too much fun just causing destruction and messing things up for Batman. So.
One thing about the Joker as well is I think he even said in The Dark Knight, he doesn't really plan things out. He just kind of does things. Bane, you can tell he puts a lot of thought and planning into what he does. He thinks about every outcome, and yeah.
I think you're right, yes, because the Joker is someone who's very spontaneous. Bane is completely not. I mean, they're two very different characters, but
yeah, Bane is a lot more methodical, and he thinks things out, and he thinks of every possible outcome.
Behind you.
I will say, I love his coat, sort of leather coat. Fucking awesome.
And they've kept the costumes very simple as well. Oh God, yeah. This scene where he exposes the lie.
To stop you tearing down this corrupt city. Let me tell you the truth.
It's interesting that the prisoners are on his side.
The words of Gotham's police commissioner, James Gordon. The Batman didn't
I mean, if we said James Corden.
boy and took the blame for Harvey's appalling crimes so that I could, to my shame, build a lie around this fallen idol. I praise the madman who tried to murder my own child, but I can no longer live with my lie. It is time to trust the people of Gotham with the truth, and it is time for me to resign.
This is quite powerful.
Resignation?
Do you accept this man's resignation?
The resignation of all of these men, of all the corrupt.
The corrupt.
Locked up for 8 years in Blackgate. He denied
His voice is quite funny.
it's on a lie. He's a now or never. He betrayed everything.
What's the point? Far there.
That's the thing. He's questioning him. But like, what would you have done in that situation? Like, I suppose the obvious thing would have been to tell the truth and say, "Oh, Harvey went mad and tried to kill my son and all of that." But Batman was willing to take the fall. He they just decided to keep Harvey's memory alive, and
So that you can keep yours clean.
yeah.
We take
It's great drama.
from the corrupt.
I think with Bane also, he's very much a warlord. Like, he just wants to cause war and kind of sees himself as kind of an overlord of Gotham, I think.
Gotham is yours. None shall interfere.
He loves the sound of his own voice.
Yeah.
Start by storming Blackgate and freeing the oppressed.
He kind of like he's put himself on this pedestal as a dictator in a way.
Step forward those who would serve.
Yeah.
Your army will be raised. Powerful who from their decadent.
The thing is, it's interesting how people are sort of inspired by him.
Yeah, they don't see him as a bad guy at this point, which is kind of interesting.
Courts will be convened. Spoils will be enjoyed.
I mean, it doesn't get much lower than this. But this is Gotham, its lowest low.
Police will survive as they learn to serve true
Bro.
justice.
For a minute, I thought you said it doesn't get much slower than this, and I was thinking to myself, it hasn't been that slow so far.
Oh, no, I said it doesn't get much lower than this.
Yeah.
Will survive.
No, I won't, because you want to blow it up. I mean, the League of Shadows. Fuck that.
Yeah. Well, it's sad to see the fact that he can't even do a press up now.
You can't do anything. I fucking hate to live like that. It wouldn't even be a life, fucking lying on the floor all day, doing nothing.
Yeah, you thought, using a walking stick would be hard enough, but God, yeah. I mean, it's a wonder. No wonder he decides to pack it in after this because, yeah, he would never physically been able to carry on playing, doing Batman.
Not only that, but he came so close to death, with Two-Face and with Bane. So, he could one day. Is that Alfred Molina, by the way? Looks like it.
I don't think it is, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, but Yeah, looks like an older Alfred Molina, but
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, I mean the thing is, like, he nearly came close to death twice, with Two-Face, and then with Bane. So next time he fights someone, he could die. So yeah, may as well pack it in after defeating Bane.
Yes. Yeah. I like this backstory. It's kind of interesting to see how this all came about. Although obviously the true version of this story will be revealed later, but there's a bit of insight into Bane and Talia Al Ghul.
Was Bane just was Bane related to Talia, or
No. Bane was just a prisoner, and he sort of developed a bit of a bond with the Talia, and they eventually became lovers when he got out of the prison, out of the pit. But the mercenary was her father, was Ra's al Ghul.
fucking hell? Why would you do this to him?
It has to be put back.
Fucking hell! Jesus!
Oh, I think there's something in his back that's dislocated.
I think he said his vertebrae was sticking out or something.
Mm.
God, that was a great bit of acting from Bale there. Like, you really felt that.
Yeah, Liam Neeson gives a cameo in there.
Hello, Obi-Wan. It's quite funny. I mean, you can tell he's physically aged between this and Batman Begins.
Yeah, he was the mercenary. Huh. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. They don't reveal the actual thing yet. They kind of tell it in a different version. They try and make out Bane was the child, but actually Bane was just in the prison the whole time.
Now you understand. Gotham has been on a saving. You must be allowed to die.
That's a nice cameo,
Is it-
Liam Neeson.
It's interesting how he just fades away.
Yeah, I guess he is sort of just a vision or like a ghost, like he just appears before Bruce. Maybe Bruce is starting to kind of hallucinate down in there. He's kind of losing his mind.
Yeah, I mean, it was close to death. So, is this the bit where he falls over?
I think so. He tries to walk, but it's not going to work.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, the weather outside's delightful. And the fire. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Who's the blonde?
I don't know. I'm assuming she's just like a friend or something. Like, how long have the policemen been down there? Because it's now snowing, so have they been down there for like a whole month or something? Or maybe it's a few days. I don't know. But
What I want to know is, how are they not dead?
yeah, I just want to know how long it's been.
Yeah. I think it's getting a little bit slow now, but
Yeah, I think if you're going to lose any part, this is the part you could cut out. Like, some of these like pit scenes are going on a bit, I think. Would be my one criticism. The film maybe is a tad bit too long.
I think it could have been 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you could lose about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
But it's still a really good film.
Oh yes, it's very good. It's not quite as good as The Dark Knight, but that's okay. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it was a tough act to follow.
Yeah, especially what with Heath Ledger as the Joker. But Tom Hardy, I think, does a great job as Bane.
I mean, rarely is the third film the best in the trilogy, apart from maybe Godfather. Sorry, not Godfather. Return of the King.
Yeah, that's true. And I think the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the War for the Planet of the Apes, is without question the best of the three for me.
Yeah. How the fuck is he not dead though? Because there was that guy earlier who fell from the same height, and the rope he was tied to the rope, but he didn't die. Oh, no, sorry, he died. So how did Bruce Wayne survive that fall? But anyway, IMAX.
I mean, I never saw the movie in IMAX. I only saw it in like 2D normal format. I would have liked to have seen it in IMAX, maybe. I'm thinking about it now, but yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any films in IMAX. I mean, I mean, to be honest, I don't mind the way I saw it. It was just nice to see it in the big screen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to still watch films in the standard format. Very occasionally, I'll pop to an IMAX, but I have to go to another cinema to do it. My local doesn't have an IMAX screen, but even though they did tell me they were talking about getting one in there, but they could only get one in there because my local only has 6 screens. So yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Take out the mercenaries guarding the outflow south of Ackerman Park. Blow the rubble.
yeah.
I'm in contact with my partners down there.
I really do think the past sort of 10 minutes of the film have kind of dragged.
Yeah.
I think
There's a bit too much.
this
bit
kind
too
of
much
section
talking.
of the movie. Sorry, you first.
No, I was just saying it was a bit too talky. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is the section that you could cut out, like some of these pit scenes, and then this scene, like all they're doing is walking around and kind of talking about what to do. Like it would be nice to kind of just get moving now. Come on, get out of the pit and get further on.
Yeah. It's nice as Scarecrow cameos in all 3 films.
Yes. It's weird, actually. His biggest role was in Batman Begins, although technically he doesn't really do a lot in that one either. But...
Yeah, I wish he. That's another complaint I have of Batman Begins. I like the film, but I wish Scarecrow got a bit more to do.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Mr. Fox, would you like to reach the captain?
Miss Tate's fully aware of the situation.
And I'll see you.
I think they rectified that mistake though in this film and The Dark Knight in making the villains have more screen time.
It was built as a fuel.
Yeah.
It's time. Bane turned the core into a bomb and removed it.
Here's the important part.
As the device's fuel cells deteriorate, it becomes increasingly unstable to the point of detonation.
This bomb is a time bomb.
And it will go off.
It's a time bomb.
Regardless of Bane's revolution or what we or the outside.
That's what some people might call this film.
Could you disarm it? I could reconnect to the reactor.
Okay, yeah, I do think the last 10 minutes have been a bit dragged on a little bit. I mean, it's just a bit too talky, the last 10 minutes.
Yeah. Still great, but like just like they weren't necessary. I think it was just a little bit of padding.
Yeah. And now we got something happening, which is good. Uh-oh.
Bane again.
I'm back.
Your schedule, Captain.
Oh shit. What is it with Bane? He just loves to strangle people or,
Round and up.
break
He
their
wants to
necks.
throw his weight around.
And hang them.
Yeah.
Let the world consider.
I'm going to belly flop on you.
Why do you want to hang them? You just killed them. You just crushed his neck with your leg.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense. I think it was a statement. That's why it was a statement.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that his back's better now.
Yeah. Maybe the jump knocked it into shape.
Well, no, I think earlier when he was being tied up, the guy hit something in his back that sort of relocated his back and helped fix it. Christian Bale, I think this might be the thinnest that he's been in the series. He looks quite thin here.
Yeah. I mean, I think he probably did that to mentally prepare for this film because the character's meant to be sort of physically deteriorating. So I guess maybe he lost weight purposely to kind of accentuate that. That was a nice flashback with his dad, saying, "Why do we?"
Yeah,
fall?
nice call back to the first film.
It's been on for nearly 2 hours.
It's been pretty well paced for the most part.
Just the last 10 minutes where it's kind of slowed down a bit. It does need to kind of get out of the pit. Some of these pit scenes do drag quite a lot, I think. It would be good to sort of cut to the chase because we haven't actually seen a lot of Batman in this film, funnily enough. He doesn't make so much of an appearance until sort of the third act where there's the big fight.
At least it's not Creature from the Pit. Bang, and the dirt is gone.
Rise.
Batman, rise.
Rise. Yeah. Come on, Brucey. Get out that pit.
Look at me. I'm Spider-Man.
This is a really enjoyable film. Don't get me wrong. It's been very good so far.
It is a little bit unbelievable he's the only one to escape there, but...
Well, they said that the child escaped. Obviously, Talia escaped. And Bane.
Yeah, I know, but...
They're the only other people that have escaped.
But at the same time, it makes sense because he is Batman. I guess he's more physically stronger than the other people there. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
It's amazing that he actually managed to do that, really, being in the state that he's in.
Yeah.
And I guess he's not that far away from Gotham because he just walks back there.
Does he all give them the rope so they can escape?
Yeah, that makes me wonder, why didn't they do that before then when Talia escaped? Like, she didn't bother to leave the rope down there.
Well, maybe she didn't want them to escape.
I guess so, yeah, because they were coming after her. You're right, yeah.
Oh, it's a Louis Cairns chair.
Oh, there's the Scarecrow.
For years has been living off the blood and sweat
on people less powerful than him.
I mean, I'm Irish. I'm Cillian Murphy. So, would you want to watch How to Train Your Dragon?
Sentencing hearing. Now, choice is yours. Exile.
This is a great scene. He's like the judge.
Now the film kind of develops a sort of post-apocalyptic feel.
I'm expecting Mad Max to come in.
What a lovely day.
Yeah, funnily enough, that has Tom Hardy as well.
Yeah, that's another one he's in. Yeah, no, he's quite good in that film. I think that film is so strange.
Yeah. This is a pretty intense scene where they literally forced him to go across this frozen river.
The bomb. They've already set the bomb that's going off tomorrow. Oh wow! At least they knew about it.
Foley, damn it! Shouldn't be out on the streets.
Jim, is that here?
You let your wife come to
Commissioner,
the city's under occupation?
What did you do? Where were you uniformed in the backyard? You saw me greeted to those special forces.
is it me? But Gordon's always angry in this trilogy.
Yeah, he seems to have beef with a lot of people.
Yeah, I think they have made him look older in this. Like, they've made his hair look a bit more grey and, I don't know, maybe added a few more wrinkles to him, but yeah.
Perhaps, yeah, they've done something with the hair and makeup, but yeah, I mean, you know, for 8 years, that's not bad, you know.
You know, no, it makes sense because it's 8 years later, you know, make him a bit more grey in the hair and maybe a few more lines in his face. But no, I mean, it looks more like the Commissioner Gordon from the comics because in that his hair was like white. So here sort of becoming a bit more greyish white, yeah.
I hear you looking for men, Commissioner. How about me?
I can't ask you to do that.
Oh, there's a kitty.
Oh, it's annoying. They're gonna fucking destroy the kid.
You know, she's back. Catwoman stole his apple.
Can't outrun, kid.
Oh.
He's alive. He made it back really quickly, didn't he? Like,
Yeah.
it's a bit unbelievable how quickly he actually walked back to Gotham.
They're expecting an apology.
But he didn't walk back. I'm pretty sure he probably got a plane or something.
Well, I didn't think he was that far away from Gotham, but I don't know. He doesn't have any money, does he?
Well, I'm pretty sure. I mean, that pit looked like it was in the Middle East. I mean, Gotham's like a city, and that place was like a desert. So,
Yeah.
It's an escape route. You want to disappear? Start fresh.
I suppose he's a billionaire. He could just call his private jet or something to pick him up. But yeah,
Yeah, he'd have to find a phone. I mean, he left the pit virtually with nothing.
yeah. I mean, I didn't see any buildings like close to him. You know, I mean, he managed to get out, but I mean, like, he would need water to survive that desert and stuff. I mean, that's a bit weird. But, yeah.
I mean, unless some time has passed, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's happened pretty quickly. So maybe that's one inconsistency about the movie.
Yeah. It's interesting that it's snowing in Gotham.
Yeah. Makes me wonder how long the policemen have been stuck under the under the stadium.
The thing is, like, how are they still alive? That's what I want to know. I mean,
if it's been a short time of a few days, then they could survive. But If it's been a few weeks, then they shouldn't be alive.
I mean, if it's been a few weeks and we find out that someone had sent them like food parcels and water or whatever like down there, that would make sense. But yeah,
Exile.
Yeah.
You think we're going out onto that ice willingly? You have another thing coming. Yeah. Looks that way.
it's interesting that the prisoners now control the prison. I guess.
By exile.
Death by exile.
Bring her to me.
No, it's interesting that the prisoners now control the prison, and the prison is Gotham City, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think that's a good bit of irony, and as well, like Crane, like the Scarecrow being the judge as well. Like, I guess it's them kind of spitting in the face of the policeman and the law for putting them in prison all this time.
Yeah.
They have the time to go on vacation.
How long until that court,
I mean, one thing I didn't understand about Batman Begins was, the Scarecrow makes a cameo in The Dark Knight Rises. Like, I thought Batman had arrested him at the end of Batman Begins, but
Get back in the game.
Yeah.
Spoil things wise, but Bale wants these guys to himself.
oh, it's Catwoman.
I think Marion Cotillard's quite pretty, actually.
Yeah.
Like your girlfriend, Mr. Wayne.
You should be so lucky.
Oh, there's that old apartment that they were in.
Yeah.
I still don't get how he bought, like, when he bought this apartment, like, presumably after his manor house burned down, but, like, was he living there? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, but like his manor's already being rebuilt, so why does he still have all this stuff here? Can he just put it underneath his manor again?
Yeah, I thought that he'd actually, like, moved, like, all of this back into his manor, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Why okay? Yeah. Even without the autopilot, thanks. Autopilot? That's what you're there for.
Yeah, I mean, earlier on, his bat suit was in the bat cave, so I don't know why he needed to go here to get his bat suit, but yeah.
Yeah.
Ice, ice, baby. Dooloop, 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 dooloop. Bong, gong.
God, this is pretty tense seeing them walk on the ice.
If this was Mr. Freeze, he'd be like, sing louder.
Ice, ice, baby.
He would say, like, what killed Commissioner Gordon? The Ice Age!
Oh. He's surrounded. He can't do anything.
I like that it's snowing and it's set at nighttime. It looks quite nice visually.
Yes, it does actually. It actually gives it a kind of sort of post-apocalyptic feel in a way. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit. That's the battery.
Light it up.
He's back, baby. Because we haven't seen him in the suit for like nearly a whole hour.
Yeah, saying that, there's not a lot of Batman in The Dark Knight Rises.
No, actually, yeah, you're right. He kind of sort of appears a bit at the beginning and then a bit in the middle, and then most of the time we see him is at the end.
Keep her close. Still come for her.
I don't know why he would want to announce to Bane that he's back. I mean, Bane broke his back. You'd think he'd want to avoid him as much as possible.
Yeah.
What starts? Boy.
We're getting close to the climax now of this film.
Yeah. You know, I think that's probably my favorite Batman suit, the one he wears in the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, it looks the best, and it's probably like the physically to move around in. It's probably the best as well.
Oh yeah, the action is really well choreographed.
Yeah. I'm here.
Spot.
If you're working alone, wear a mask.
Not afraid of the things standing up to these guys.
The mask's not for you. It's to protect the people you care about. Count to 5, then throw.
I mean, I don't know why he bothers doing the voice when Blake's there, because Blake knows who he is. So yeah, there's no need to disguise himself. I guess it just helps him get back into character.
Yeah. I think that might be something to do with it. Like, maybe he's just used to doing that voice when he's in that bat suit.
What now?
All that assault on me. Because you need to get people across the bridge.
What?
In case we fail, lead an exodus. Save as many lives as you can.
You don't need me here?
You've given me an army. Now go.
Hey, thanks.
You know, I'm surprised in some ways Christian Bale accepted the role as Batman, because you know, I mean, playing Batman, you know, he's a guy in a bat suit. I mean, it's quite ridiculous. You'd think like a serious actor like him would say, "No, I'm not doing a superhero movie," but he probably thought, "Oh well, Christopher Nolan's directing it, so it's probably going to be good."
Yes, that's true. And I think the thing is, the reputation of the franchise have been tarnished with the previous films, the Batman, the Joel Schumacher films. So yeah, I think I'm sure when he read the script, he was convinced.
It's interesting that he gives her the bike.
There's more to you than that.
I mean, she just wants to leave. She just wants to fuck off and go and start a new life. But
Sorry to keep letting you
I
down.
think, he makes her realize that, she can have a life with him. And in the end, she does come around to that. Thank God.
Yourself. You don't owe.
Interesting that she offers him to come with her.
Not everything.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not everything. I kind of like his loyalty to Gotham. Like I mean, she doesn't mind. I mean, like she's quite selfish. I mean, she could just fuck off and not give a shit. But he's like, oh no, I haven't given them everything, not yet. I mean, that's the thing. He has loyalty to the people of Gotham. He'll defend them and he'll defend the city. And yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all. I mean, that's a tribute to the guy, really. I mean, even the fact that a lot of them, think that he killed Harvey Dent until recently, he still always, puts himself in harm's way to protect them.
It's interesting how Bane's kind of mocking Batman, the way he's like stolen these military vehicles that Batman used, like he turned them black. It's like he's kind of like insulting him by like stealing these vehicles, like making a mockery out of him.
Yeah, I get what you mean about Bane. He does like to hold his lapel quite a lot.
Yeah, like William Hartnell. William Hartnell used to hold his lapel a lot as a doctor.
Here we go. Here comes the final battle.
Ooh, yes, my Batman boy. Ooh. The Batman should have said to him, "Why are you doing a William Hartnell impression?"
And then they just charge.
It's literally cops versus robbers.
Yeah, and it's pretty epic.
Oh, it's a nice shot of the Princess Diaries.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, that was deliberately Nolan's like saying, "Oh, I want you to lean forward and shoot," and then just stay in that position until the end of the shot.
Yeah, something you could save for his wank bank.
Meow.
You know, like after she did that shot, he probably said, "You got a nice pussy."
Yeah. I like this that Batman and Bane have a much better fight. I mean, he actually manages to kick his ass this time.
Yeah, you'd think Bane would kick his ass, but no.
I mean, it's funny, you know, you can argue that Batman isn't really in the film much, but I think the moments when he is there are really worth it. The rest of the film still has a great drama and great build up to it.
I like the fact that, when Batman returns, it makes an impact, and I like that line. It's like, "Oh, you came here to save the city." He's like, "No, I came here to defeat you." Yeah, I like the fact that Commissioner Gordon gets a lot to do in this as well.
And even though now people sort of think less of him now because he covered up the lie, that you know he's still doing his best for the city, and I think people probably just forget about that after a while.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's the thing that's kind of interesting about The Dark Knight, you know, and this film is that, you know, they try to build up the fact that Harvey Dent was this great guy because they don't want, you know, the Joker to succeed, because if they reveal to the public that, you know, he threatened Commissioner Gordon's son and all this stuff and he was actually a bad guy, that, you know, that would have sort of destroyed sort of public morale, because Harvey Dent was, you know, originally there to sort of clean up Gotham, and like he was sort of Gotham's White Knight. So to see his reputation destroyed would have, you know, would have mean the Joker would have won. But yeah,
exactly. I think that's and that's what the Joker tried to do. He tried to prove that a good man can go bad, and I mean with Bane, I mean, you know, we do find out that he does have some love in his heart, but not for anyone else other than Talia.
yeah. This is a good fight, actually. I think I prefer it to the fight earlier because it is more of an even fight.
Yeah, and Batman, he starts to kick his ass a bit more.
Yeah.
Now he can't breathe.
Even Bane's shocked by the fact that Batman fucked his mask up a little bit. He's going ape shit. Look.
It's like when we finally get to the action, it really is worth it. For the
smash him through that fucking window door. Smashed him through that glass door. Where is he?
He just got a bit mad with the voice at times.
Where is he? He sounds like a military commander or something, like an army sergeant. Like, where is he, soldier? Where is he?
Yeah. He's like, where is he? Then you have my permission to die. I like that.
Jesus, look at the emotion on his face.
He's generally fucking shitting himself, like how he's come back.
Tom Hardy's really great in this because you can't really see most of his facial expressions here. It's just his eyes that you could see, and he does a really good job with, you know, just being able to express himself with his eyes and not his mouth and whole face.
Yeah.
Oh, Talia Al Ghul.
Uh-oh. Doof, 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 doof.
Do, 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 do.
What a twist.
Imagine if Jar Jar Binks was the villain in this.
Oh God, couldn't imagine that.
She is quite good looking, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our mother named me Talia before she was killed. The way I would have been killed
It turns out she was the kid who escaped.
And then Bane was the one who, was protecting her. And then they beat him up so badly that he needed protection on his face.
Yeah, God. Yeah, it's the only time you see Tom Hardy's face and without that mask.
Yes, but it was an interesting way that they tricked the audience into thinking Bane was the kid, because the kid has short hair, so you couldn't really tell that the kid was a girl or a boy. So I thought it was clever the way they told it.
Oh, look, it's the mummy.
And then Bane was in the league, but then he was excommunicated because they just thought he was a monster, which was a bit harsh.
I actually think Talia Al Ghul, I think, is actually a pretty good villain.
Yeah. She's like, I cannot forgive my father until you murdered him. I mean, the motivations make perfect sense, and I like the way it ties back to Batman Begins. It kind of brings the sort of trilogy full circle, really, I think.
The thing is, she's wrong, though. I mean, he didn't even murder her father. He just left him on the train. That's all he did. He didn't physically, kill him.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. He left him to die, but yeah, I guess she kind of saw that as him murdering him. But
yeah. I mean, he had to anyway. He wanted to destroy the city.
Exactly, yeah. He just chose not to save him,
No, I don't understand about the League of Shadows. They want to get rid of crime and all the, all this criminal scum as they see it, but they're happy to kill innocent people as well in the process. I mean, by your own logic, aren't you just as bad as the people that you want to get rid of?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I suppose maybe that's what they thought when Bane was there, and he thought, well, this guy's a monster. I don't want him in this group because I just want to do things the way we want to do it. And I guess they thought Bane wouldn't fit in. But yeah.
Yeah, but wait, they're still in Gotham, so would she just be happy to blow herself up?
Well, I don't know, actually. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm assuming well, I don't know how the whole city would be destroyed. I'm sure it would just be in ruins. So I'm sure they would just overrule it or whatever. But she's just in it for revenge. At the end of the day, Bane's the one that wants to blow it up.
Interesting how Batman gets rid of the bomb.
Yeah, that's true.
Gets rid of it in the Batjet. The thing is, Bane doesn't deserve to kill Batman because he didn't beat him fairly in the fight.
Yeah. It's a pretty good final battle.
I don't know why Bane just didn't snap Batman's back again.
Well, yeah. He could have done that, I
mean,
suppose.
Yeah, he could have just snapped his back again, and that would have stopped Batman from stopping them.
I guess now because he just wants to kill him. Yeah.
just have to imagine the fire.
I will say Bane's death is a little bit abrupt. Like,
yeah.
It was very quick the way she just shot him like
I'm
that.
not sure I feel strongly about it as
Not only that, but it's a bit anticlimactic because the whole film is like Bruce coming back to fight Bane, and then she just shoots him, and that's it.
Yeah,
know?
and now it's
Yeah.
just like, oh, okay, we just got to get rid of Talia and the bomb.
Yeah.
I think Talia dies, but I can't actually remember how she dies. It's been a while since I've seen it.
We have to force the colonies to escape to the reactor. I need you on the ground. I'll be in the air. Go.
I mean, he just got stabbed. I mean, obviously, surely he needs some medical attention.
Well, Bruce.
Yeah, he's been stabbed by Talia.
Oh god, yeah, he's taken so many injuries in this film.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's just a human punching bag.
That's
Oh,
a
shit.
dick move, to blow the bridge like that. When there were kids he's trying to get the kids to safety. Jesus.
Yeah. I'm surprised he wasn't killed by the explosion because he was very close to the bridge when it exploded.
Yeah.
pushing us to the entrance of the reactor. They're gonna try to reconnect the core.
What a
Oh,
bastard.
dear.
I mean, all he wanted to do was get these kids to safety.
Yeah. What was wrong with that? I mean, he would have stayed behind. He wouldn't have cared, but just to get the kids forward would have been the most important thing.
Yeah. Oh, some nice shots of Anne Hathaway's behind.
Behind. Michelle.
She's got a nice rear end.
Yeah.
Michelle.
Right.
Can you imagine Jeremy Kyle as Batman?
I can't actually. That'd be weird.
I can imagine him as a younger Alfred because he's sort of a cockney. No.
God, yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
It's my show. I'll call you what I want. You use this bitch. From Bond Life.
I mean, even though the film could be argued for having not a huge amount of action earlier on, they make up for it with this big final battle, which
Yeah.
really is spectacular. I must say, this is really well done.
Yeah, I mean, I think the film, for the most part, is pretty well paced.
It does feel actually that much more epic than the first two films.
Yeah, it does. I think it's because it's a bigger scale. Bane's plan's a bigger scale than the first two films.
I mean, every villain I think in this trilogy has had some kind of presence. Even Ra's al Ghul in the first one, and I mean, maybe not so much the Scarecrow, but the rest of the villains are all pretty great. I mean, obviously the Joker being the best of the three.
Yeah, I think my favorite after Joker is definitely Bane.
Yeah, I would pretty agree with that. Oh, it's a real chase to get this bomb.
Yep. Uh-oh. She's gonna go bye-bye.
Ouch.
She's dead, right?
What? What? How was Jim Gordon in there the whole time?
I'm surprised he survived that. She got
Yeah.
killed, but somehow he's okay.
Yeah, and like, how was he even in there? Like, how did he just sneak in there?
Yeah. Was her like neck broken or something?
I don't know. Yeah, she probably had sort of like suffered from a whiplash or something. Maybe the force of the crash, like, slowed her heart down or something.
There's Lucius Fox. It's nice that he gets a bit more to do in this.
I like that he gets involved in the end as well, like you say.
Protection from the blast. We're gonna be all right. Double time, go. And bomb.
And God, the school bus. Hopefully General Aldo isn't in there.
God.
Battle for the Gotham City.
God.
Where are you going? Are you gonna head over the Bane?
I'm sorry, the way he delivered that line was so funny. Get it out all over the bridge. It's just so mumbly.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tone down the voice sometime. Oh.
Oh, cute.
I think that was sort of a kiss of good luck and also a kiss of like, if I
Love.
don't see you again. Yeah.
Reassuring is putting a coat around a young boy's shoulders to let him know the world hadn't ended.
I love that. That's a really nice touch and really nice callback. And he tells him who he is. And even though it's kind of convenient how Jim Gordon remembers it so quickly, like, oh, that's the one kid I actually did that with years ago. Bruce Wayne. Well, of course.
Yeah, that is convenient.
It's a lovely moment. I'll give it that. And obviously, it's the only way for him to get rid of the bomb.
Maybe as a photographic memory and he just remembered it straight away.
Probably.
There they go. There's the bomb. What is that? Is it like a nuclear bomb or something, or is it just a big explosive bomb?
It was designed as a fusion reactor, but it was Bane turned the core of it into a bomb.
Oh shit! Yeah. I'm Batman.
I love the music here. It's brilliant.
It's quite tense as well because when the explosion goes off, you're not sure initially if Batman survived.
Yeah, and that's what makes it interesting. You think, oh, maybe he has died this time.
Uh-oh.
This is when he decides, like, he doesn't want to be Batman anymore. I think he doesn't really need to be Batman anymore.
Yeah. I think even Alfred said that, you don't need to be Batman anymore.
Yeah.
That must be a nuclear bomb. Look at that. I mean, that's like a fucking mushroom cloud. How the hell did he survive that? That's what I want to know. How did he survive like a nuclear bomb going off?
I don't know. Well, clearly he went so far away that we didn't see that he detached it, and obviously his vehicle was hidden behind the explosion. So, yeah.
Big mushroom cloud.
Mm. Oh God. Oh. I'm getting to the end now. Oh, God.
It's a long film, but I think it's definitely worth it.
I agree.
I think it's much better than some people give it credit for. Some people just shit on this and say, "Oh, it's the worst of the trilogy. It's not very good. It's boring." And I have to disagree. I mean, yes, it is a bit long at nearly 3 hours, but I do really enjoy Dark Knight Rises. I think it's a very good conclusion to the trilogy, and even though it's not as good as The Dark Knight, I do think it's better. It's better than Batman Begins for me, and I do think it's a good film.
Mm. Oh, I forgot about this scene. Alfred. Oh, yeah, this is so sad. When he says, "I failed you. I'm so sorry. Like you trusted me." Like to his parents' graves, and oh,
Yeah.
that breaks my heart. Michael Caine played that so well.
Yeah, he's a great actor, and yeah, I'd say this is his best performance because he gets all these emotional scenes.
And I really like the ending of this film. The way, also the fact that those kids actually end up being housed in the manor, and it gets converted into an orphanage, which I think is great. And then obviously we discover that Bruce Wayne is actually alive.
Yeah, it's
And
like he let himself like, or he pretended that he died so that he could. Oh, so do they know he's Batman then? Because they revealed that statue of Batman.
yeah, so Alfred gets whatever financial assets were left over, but the orphanage will be made for the kids. But as for the company, I don't know what happens there. I suppose Lucius maybe just carries on running it.
Or they could have just sold it off.
Yeah, or someone bought the company out. Martha and Thomas Wayne Home for Children. Oh, that's lovely. It's such a great ending. It's tied up very nicely.
Yeah. Suppose he doesn't need it anyway, since he's technically dead, even though he's not. I think he let himself, like, I think he deliberately didn't come back because, he no longer, he fulfilled his role as Batman, and there wasn't anything really else for him in Gotham City, and, he restarted his life as, Bruce Wayne, somewhere else, with Selena Kyle.
Yeah, and it's nice that we actually find out that Blake's proper name is Robin. Which is interesting. A nice little sort of tease, even though they didn't make a fourth movie.
Yeah. This scene is such a great way to wrap up the film, where, like Alfred was saying earlier, he'd like to turn around and see you there, and then he does, and it's such a great moment.
And I like that there's also a sense of passing of the torch, like Bruce is giving up the mantle and he's passing it to Blake, or Robin, who we could assume
Yeah.
would take over and become Robin, and etc. I mean, obviously in the comics, Batman and Robin work together, but for Nolan's trilogy, I think it works. It really works.
Yeah. And I think Robin was younger when he met Batman in the comics, but yeah.
And it's also nice that the Gotham have had their respect for Batman restored, obviously because after the Harvey Dent thing, so hence the statue, which was nice.
Yeah. I love that. He just sort of smiles and nods to him. At the same time, though, you'd think he'd be shocked because he thought Bruce Wayne was dead. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure he understands why he did it, and yeah.
At the same time, I wonder if he talked to Alfred again or if that was it.
Yeah. Well, that was fantastic. That was another really good film. That was a great ending to the trilogy. Yeah, so Jack, do you want to give your thoughts on The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah, I think The Dark Knight Rises is a really great film. I remember seeing this in the cinema back in 2012 with my mum and my brother, and I really enjoyed it. I mean, yes, you could make the argument it is a bit too long at 2 hours and 44 minutes, and I mean it's really pushing it. Nearly 3 hour film, but I think it's a really good film. I mean, I think the villain in it is great. Tom Hardy as Bane is excellent, and he steals the show. And it's interesting to see Batman sort of physically, suffer in this film because he's still recovering from the events of the Dark Knight, and then he becomes Batman again, and Bane breaks his back, and he has to come back. And I think maybe my criticism is maybe that the scenes in the pit go on a little bit too long, and there is that sort of middle section of the movie where it does drag for about 10 or 15 minutes. But apart from that, it's really great. Some great action scenes. Anne Hathaway, I think, is decent as Catwoman. I mean, she's not great, but she's not awful either. I think maybe she could have put a bit more in there, but she's still good. I think Michael Caine, I agree with you. It's probably his best performance as Alfred. He gets a lot of emotional scenes in this, which is great. And I think Marion Cotillard as well is very good in this as Talia Al Ghul, and I like that twist. I think it's quite good, and I think it's a really enjoyable film. I think Bane is a great villain, and there's a lot of great action scenes. I like the scene at the stadium. I like the scene with the plane, like some of the action in there, like the car chases and the scene in the jet. It's quite good, and the final fight's pretty good, and the last sort of action set piece is pretty good. And I do like the ending where Batman, he takes the bomb and he disposes of it, and then Alfred, he turns his head and he sees Bruce Wayne there with Selena Kyle, and that's a nice way to end the film. And I think it's really well directed. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's perfect though. I mean, I do have a few issues with it. And maybe it is a bit too long at 2 hours and 45 minutes, but it's still a good film. So I'm going to close off by giving The Dark Knight Rises a 9 out of 10.
Oh, thank you, Jack. That's great. Well, I really, really like The Dark Knight Rises. It's not as good as The Dark Knight, of course it isn't, but I'd probably say I'd probably take it over Batman Begins. I think it's got the slight edge. It's really, really good. I mean, the story is great, especially with Bruce Wayne's character, and you really feel like by the end his story is done. I like the scenes in the pit, even though, yes, some of them probably do go on a bit too long, but his character arc I really appreciated. The twists and turns of the story were really good in regards to Talia Al Ghul and Bane, and Bane is a great villain, I must say. He's really good. Tom Hardy really just owns it in this film, and to follow Heath Ledger's Joker, I mean, that wasn't going to be an easy task. But I wouldn't say Tom Hardy gives an Oscar-worthy performance, but it's a very good performance, and he proves that Bane is an intelligent overlord, and I like the fact that they've written him much better. The music by Hans Zimmer, I think, is at its best, actually. Michael Caine as Alfred is really good, and the emotional heart of the film, he really is. Anne Hathaway, yeah, maybe she's not the best Catwoman, but I liked her. I thought she was good. I mean, she was decent. I thought she had a decent chemistry with Bale, and I like the fact that she kind of becomes his new love interest, and they spend the rest of their lives together. So that's nice. I like the character of Blake, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, or Robin, as his proper name is known. But yeah, and his character is really good. He's a very loyal, dedicated cop, and he just wants to do the best. And he's someone who really aspires to be like Batman, who looks up to Batman. And I like the fact that they pass the torch on to him at the end, and how he kind of discovers the Batcave, and it sort of then becomes his. So I like that sort of that thing there. Morgan Freeman is also very good as Lucius. I think he gets the most he's ever had to do, so I think he's very good. Nolan's direction is also really good. I think the action sequences are brilliant when they're there. It does take a while to get to the action, but stick with it because it's really good. The final battle especially is really good. Again, the scenes in the pit probably just go on a bit too long, but I like the opening of the film when we have that plane sequence. That's also really good. And I like the story as well, how we're sort of dealing with the repercussions of the events of The Dark Knight. especially with Jim Gordon. I mean, Gary Oldman gives a great performance in this film, and he's living with that sort of lie for 8 years. They've been living with that lie, and how they deal with it is really quite something. I also like the cameo of Liam Neeson. It was nice to see him come back for a cameo as Ra's al Ghul. Perhaps my only real complaint is that it is a little bit too long. I think maybe 2 hours 45 minutes was a little bit of a stretch, but otherwise, this is a really great movie. I mean, it could be argued there's not a lot of Batman in the film, so I don't think kids would probably have the patience to sit through it. I think it's a film pretty more designed more for slightly older people, sort of like mid-teens upwards. I don't think young kids could really sit through this movie because I think there's a lot of time without Batman, and that might be
It's more adult as well. It's more adult than the other Batman films, like especially the Schumacher ones.
It is actually, yeah, I do agree. It is more adult than the other ones, and it kind of does require you to pay attention to a lot of the stuff, and you do have to kind of be more interested in characters and stuff as well. And I mean, it is very good. And to follow The Dark Knight was going to be a difficult task, but yeah, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10. I agree. For me, it's just a little bit too long. It could lose about 10 minutes of its runtime. Like there's a section where it does drag a bit. But I mean, it was released in 2012 and it still holds up. I think it's a very good film, and this trilogy as a whole has been really fantastic, really quite fantastic. And I got to hand it to Nolan. I mean, just as it's the third one and it's the last one, this trilogy I think is brilliant. To me, it's the best superhero trilogy ever made, and it's probably one of the best trilogies ever made. I mean, all 3 films for me are fantastic. Batman Begins I give a 9 out of 10. The Dark Knight 10 out of 10, and The Dark Knight Rises I'll give a 9 out of 10. So out of 30, that would be 28. 28 out of 30. So that's very good, and I think Christopher Nolan is a fantastic director, and we may or may not at some point in a few years down the line do some more commentaries on some of his movies, because he really is a talented director, and I look forward to his next film, Tenet, which is coming out very soon. But I'll always be forever grateful that he was the guy that rebooted Batman and grounded it in reality and brought it back after the Joel Shitmaker movies. So I appreciate the 3 films that he made were really good. The Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, and they're a great trilogy. So if anyone hasn't seen them, I highly recommend them. So yeah, that's my take on the trilogy. What do you think of the trilogy as a whole, Jack?
Fucking shit. End of. No, joking. No, I think overall as a trilogy it really works, and I definitely think it's one of the best superhero trilogies, as well as one of the best trilogies of all time. I like all 3 of them. I mean, I think the first one, Batman Begins, is definitely the weakest, but it's still a good film. My only criticism of that was that maybe Bane could have, not Bane, maybe Scarecrow could have had more to do in that, and it does sort of drag at certain points. It is quite a long film, and parts of it are a bit slow and boring, but it's still a good film. I'd probably give that an 8 out of 10. Dark Knight is a classic film, really, really good. Heath Ledger is excellent as a Joker, and a lot of interesting stuff in that, and some great action, and just a really great, not just a really good superhero film, but just a great film in general, and a great crime film. And The Dark Knight Rises, I think, is it's not as good as The Dark Knight, but I think it's still very good. I really like Tom Hardy's Bane. I like the story. I mean, maybe you could make the criticism it is a bit too long, and it probably is at nearly 3 hours, but it's still a good film. And I think if I had to rank the trilogy, I'd say number 3, Batman Begins. Number 2 would be Dark Knight Rises, and then of course number 1 would be The Dark Knight. But out of 30, I'll probably give it 27 out of 30, because first one's 8 out of 10, second's 10 out of 10, and third one's a 9 out of 10. So yeah, 27 out of 30. But yeah.
And also, let's take this moment to say, obviously, Christian Bale as Batman. I mean, he played Batman for 3 movies, which is a lot more than actually. I think that's just the most that anyone's actually ever played Batman on screen for. Because Michael Keaton did twice, Val Kilmer did once, George Clooney did once, and Ben Affleck has been in there actually a few times. So actually, Ben Affleck is probably the one who's had the most films, but. Christian Bale had 3 movies, and I personally thought he was a great Batman and Bruce Wayne, and he could be my favorite. I don't know. I mean, Michael Keaton is also really good, so it's between those two. But in terms of the movies, obviously, I mean, Adam West obviously is completely different, but I mean, Adam West is just fun. But yeah, in terms of the movies, yeah, for me it might be Christian Bale or Michael Keaton, but Christian Bale, I think, was a great Batman, and over the 3 films, we really saw his character develop, and he played the part to the hilt, and yeah, I was sold immediately, and I think Nolan cast the right person to play the role. I mean, so yeah, I miss Christian Bale as Batman, so yeah, that's my verdict.
Yeah, I mean, has Ben Affleck played Batman more than Christian Bale? Because I think he was only in Batman v Superman and Justice League. Or was he in other films as well?
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he was in about 3, but I must have got that wrong. I don't think he's been in. Yeah, no, I think you're right. He's only been in 2 films, Batman vs Superman and Justice League. Yeah. So yeah, no, Christian Bale is the longest serving on-screen Batman.
Yeah, and 3 films isn't even that much, but yeah, no. As for Christian Bale, yeah, and I think he's great as Batman. I mean, you could make the criticism that maybe he does overdo the voice, and I think he does at certain points. But I still think he's really good as Batman. Like physically, he's very intimidating, and I think he's really good as both characters, Bruce Wayne and Batman. And as for my favorite Batman, I think maybe I slightly give the edge to Michael Keaton because I sort of grew up with him as Batman, and I think he's really good as Batman. But I think Christian Bale's up there as well. I think they're the 2 best, Batman on-screen incarnations. And of course, Adam West is sort of different to that,
Campy.
but I love him as well. yeah, but can't be in a good way, unlike Batman and Robin. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean that's all I really want to say.
So yeah, and unfortunately, after this movie, the next film to feature Batman was Batman versus Superman, which we won't talk about. But yeah, and I think Christian Bale and Christopher Nolan, I think they made the commitment that they were done after this 3rd one. I think the trilogy was all it was going to be, and given the way the film ended, it does seem very final. So I'm happy with it as a trilogy. I know you mentioned you wouldn't have minded a 4th one, and I would have seen more of them. Yeah, I would have been happy to see more of them, but I think they quit at the right time. They stopped at the 3rd one while it was still very good. So, I mean, who knows? They could have made a crap movie for the 4th one. So, yeah. But, no, it's a great trilogy. Is there anything else you want to say before we finish up, or are you done?
I'm not wearing hockey pads. That's all I have to say.
That's it then. Yeah. No, it's been a good trilogy full of hockey pads, scarecrows, and guys wearing breathing masks. So
and guys wearing clown makeup. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and clowns as well. I mean, still very sad about Heath Ledger, but yeah. So thank you all for watching and listening to this commentary, and to all 3 commentaries. It's been fantastic to do this series again. So yeah, we may commentate on the other Batman movies at some point as well. That would be fun. I'd like to do that. I mean, not necessarily the Joel Shitmacker ones, but maybe the Burton ones. It'd be good to watch them.
Yeah, no, I'd like to do a commentary on the Burton ones. So maybe we could do an audio rant commentary on Batman and Robin. That would be quite funny. We haven't done a audio rant commentary in a while, but yeah.
I suppose we'd have to do the Batman Forever as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that at some point. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching and listening, and see you soon. Bye.